Good evening, dear friends, and welcome to day 91 of A Poem a Day for 2026. It's Thursday night. It definitely is night time. I think it's about 10:15. So this is much later than I've ever posted or ever recorded. I think I mentioned yesterday that I was on a half day from work today, so should have been plenty of time. However, I received a call from a friend who was in need, and they come first. So we talked for a while about lots of different things, and I hope they were at least a little bit better after we finished the call. Yeah, I think. But essentially, by the time the call had finished, I had about 10 minutes before I was due to leave for training. And actually, it wasn't until I had all of my things together that I even remembered the poem, remembered this, and it was literally as I was leaving that I was like, tracks. So I was like, I'll record it when I get home. So the cats have been taken care of, they've had their food. I've got the oven on to make myself something. Cass is being very chatty. He probably wants me to put him to bed, but he can hang on for a few minutes. He's had fuss. Lots of fuss. Both of them have. And I thought I would come to share today's poem. I did notice yesterday that we've hit a little bit of a conundrum. I always open up the book and look at the daily poem for the first time with all of you. I've managed to do that successfully for 89 days. Yesterday's poem, read it, and it was on this page here. And as I went to close the book, I accidentally looked at the opposite page. I finished reading, and as I went to close the book, my eyes wandered over to the other page, which was today. And today's poem, for the 2nd of April, is none other than The Walrus and the Carpenter by Lewis Carroll. And as much as I absolutely adore it, I won't read it to you again twice in the space of 2 days. 2 or 3 days. I will read you the blurb, because I think the blurbs are always very interesting to know. But I have selected something else from the collected works of Lewis Carroll to read today instead. So, the blurb for The Walrus and the Carpenter reads as follows. April Fool's Day might have been and gone, but there's always time for a little more nonsense. This poem originally appeared in Lewis Carroll's Through the Looking Glass, the sequel to Alice in Wonderland. The poem is recited to Alice by the characters Tweedledum and Tweedledee, so yes, I may well have been right about it being in the film. The animated film, at least. Excuse me. In the novel, Alice concludes that both the Walrus and the Carpenter are very unpleasant characters. And as it happens, so are Tweedledee and Tweedledum. So, that is, I think that's probably the same conclusions that we made on Tuesday. And I have opted to share with you Not that I think I actually need to even open the book. My most favourite Lewis Carroll poem, and it's definitely up there in my favourite poems, possibly my favourite pieces of literature of all time, and this holds a very special place for me. Just, I feel like this is woven into my very fabric of being. I'm going to share with you Jabberwocky. "'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the job bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the maxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in offish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes aflame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay! He chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toves, did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the momraths outgrabe. Truly a nonsense poem. I can't recall if I've shared this story with you all, and I don't know if I had come across Jabberwocky before this instance. But thinking about this now, it seems that my A-levels really were quite formative for me. Alongside my beloved English literature A-level, I also took performing arts. Can you tell? And our teacher, she was fantastic. I cannot for the life of me remember her name, but I remember she was fantastic. She set us a task in a lesson to, I think we were in pairs, to perform, work together for 15-20 minutes, and put on a small performance of Jabberwocky. And we all kind of looked at our sheets and we were like, but what does it mean? And she's like, that's the thing, it's a nonsense poem. She's like, you decide what burbling through the wood means. You decide what the vorpal blade might look like. She's like, you can interpret this. How might the tum-tum tree be shaped? What does the Jabberwocky look like? How would somebody stand in uffish thought? She's like, you interpret this how you will, and we will then perform to each other. And the variation amongst our class, I think we weren't a massive class, maybe about 20, 25, was really fascinating, considering we'd all been learning the same stuff up to that point. And it's such a fond memory for me. And I to this day, I don't know why the father, I assume. Why I picked the voice of a Yorkshireman. But that's what I did. Um, and since I was 17, my father in Jabberwocky has always been a stout Yorkshireman. Always. I've not even tried anything else. I just the contemplation has never been there to try something different. It's always been, and the opening and closing stanza of Brillig Slithy Toves, always in that voice too. 'Twas Brillig, always that same voice. Can't explain it. Just yeah, and I'm pretty sure my inflection through most of the poem is just hasn't changed. There was also an occasion in my early 30s, had an office job, and we were encouraged to, because we all sat in our work teams in designated areas, we were encouraged to decorate our areas for Halloween. And our senior management would judge the areas, and essentially the best dressed team area would win something. Can't remember what it was. And myself, one of my colleagues, and our manager were all big into Halloween, so we went full pelt. We found some masking tape. We did a masking tape / chalk outline of a body on the floor. Yeah, we got weird with it. Like, both myself and the manager brought decorations from home, which were just our home decor. And when the senior manager came round and she was like, oh yeah, this is pretty good. I was like, and at this point I was dressed as a witch, but not just like your standard witch. Like, mine was a little fascinator hat, really heavy eye makeup. I probably looked quite unwell, to be fair. And I was like, if you would like, I was like, we also have a reading or a recitation of Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll prepared. And she was like, oh, sure. And I went for it. Full theatrics, full body movement. We won. I think it was a big box of chocolates. Yeah, we rode that high for a while. Yeah. I'm a big nerd, and I love reading things to people. I'm a storyteller. And that's not being egotistical or anything. I just love telling stories and sharing stuff. And yeah, I'm just enjoying doing that with you all. So I hope you enjoyed my recitation of Jabberwocky this evening. And I can see we've had some comments from the last few days. So I hope that you've been enjoying. My goodness, you can tell I'm tired. I hope that you've been enjoying what we've had recently as well. I'm excited to see what else is to come. And hopefully I'll be able to get a bit of rest on this long bank holiday weekend. If you're working tomorrow, good luck, Godspeed. If, like me, you now have 4 days off, huzzah! But yeah, I am now going to go and put on my pyjamas and try and stay awake long enough to have something to eat. Or I'll just faceplant and find something at 3 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? Until that time, though, friends. Until tomorrow, even. I wish you the very best of good nights.